Hello and welcome to the podcast Love Yourself and Live Your Life, your podcast for personal development, a positive mindset and more consciousness in your life. My name is Jolanthe, and I'm so happy and so grateful you're joining me today again. And what makes me especially happy is that you're joining me on the journey to a more happy and fulfilling life for yourself. In today's episode, I'd like to speak about how to deal with negative people. Over the last few years, when I started the personal growth and development, I have done so many changes in my life. I have started becoming more positive. I have been doing so many workshops. I have been changing my life. I have done so much. And every time I had contact to negative people in my life, it has affected myself so much. So every single step, I went into the right direction towards a happier and a more fulfilling life. I have been affected by this negative energy from all these negative people in my life. And in today's episode, I'd like to share with you what kind of options you have, how to deal with negative people. So I hope you enjoy this episode. People's energy has got a huge impact on us and on our energy. I'll give you an example. You may go to the supermarket or to a shop and you are feeling a little bit down or sad, and you meet someone at the till, for example, a really kind, friendly person, smiling at you, asking you how you are, says something positive to you, and you leave the shop with a big smile and with a completely different energy, with a completely different mood than when you arrived there. And exactly the same can happen when you are in a really good mood, but suddenly you meet someone and that person just only says something or does something. Very often happens when people are driving. While you're driving, someone may beep at you, someone may take over, someone may drive really in a very aggressive way, and that may change completely your energy, your mood. So that's what I mean with energy, because we are all energy and other people's energy does affect us. And that happens most of the time like automatically, because we are not mindful. We just take on the other person's energy. So when we speak about negative people, I'd like to make a difference, and that's very important to realize that people who are going through a difficult time in their life, they are for me not negative people. It is completely normal that someone who is experiencing some difficulties in their life, it's absolutely normal that that person is a little bit low, is a bit down, might be a little bit negative. So for this kind of people, it is important to be there for them, to listen to them and to support them. Because if this kind of person will ask, would you be able to speak to me? Can you help me? That person needs help in that time. It is only a stage of the person's life, and then that person will be fine. But what I mean with negative people are people who are always negative, who always complain, people who, for example, want to meet up with you and don't want your help. They just only want to get out all the negativity out of them and pass it on to you. And if you are a sensible person, you take on the negative energy and it may even affect you. You may feel sad, you may feel depressed, you may be down. And while you're trying to support the person, and while you might be trying to give some solutions or some support to the person, that person gets your positive energy and you are left with some negative energy. Also, negative people are the people that I like to call them victims. They always, whatever happens to them, they always feel sorry for themselves and everything is terrible in their life. And whatever someone has said or did to them, they make a really big problem out of this. And if you come to them with a solution, they still find another problem for every solution. Negative people are also people that harm us mentally, emotionally, and physically. So if you are affected by this kind of negative people, you should never allow them to treat you like this. In that case, I can straight away tell you, you have to cut the contact. It's so important. You don't deserve to be abused by anyone, either emotionally or physically. Before I'll share the ways and some tips with you, what kind of options you have, what kind of possibilities you have, and how to deal with the person, I'd like first of all to speak a little bit about this negative people, because I always like to look at people with love and compassion, because for me, every person is amazing. The inner core of every person is just simply pure love. It's simply wonderful. The only problem is that the past experiences of that person are affecting the person's behavior. So if the person constantly thinks negative thoughts about themselves, has loads of limiting beliefs, experiences unpleasant feelings, all that pain, all that negativity, all that suffering inside, that person will obviously behave in a negative way, because that's what automatically happens. If we are thinking positive thoughts, we are happy and we treat other people well. However, if we are unwell inside, if we are sad, if we are negative inside, that's what we give to the outside. So therefore, it's very important to understand that whatever other people say and do, it always has something to do with them. It has nothing to do with you, absolutely nothing. It only has something to do with them. And a happy person will not hurt other people, will not want to harm other people. But a negative person, a sad person, a hurt person will naturally be negative. And that's very important to understand, that it has nothing to do with you. And there is a beautiful saying, which is, hurt people hurt people. And again, that's so true. When you are hurt inside, when a person is hurt inside, that person will hurt other people. It's not that they are doing it in purpose, but they cannot do it any other way. It does not justify. However, it's just for you as a background information to be aware of that it has nothing to do with you. You still don't deserve to be treated badly. You deserve to be treated well. You deserve to be treated with love and with respect like every other person. But I just wanted you to understand the reason why people are being negative and why people might criticize you or make jokes about you, because they are inside themselves not happy. It's good to understand, however, it is not your responsibility to heal the other person. It is not your responsibility to be there only for others. Your responsibility is to be there for yourself. You are responsible for your happiness and for your peace. So take the responsibility for yourself. Become responsible for your life, for your happiness. Because no one has the power to put a feeling inside you. You alone have the power by accepting it, by taking it on. You are responsible for your life and for your happiness, and not for the other person. Your responsibility is to create a healthy environment, because the environment affects us hugely. We very often are not aware of that. There is a saying which is, you are the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. And I'd like to invite you to check out for yourself, who are these 5 people in your life that you spend most of the time with? Are these people positive? Are they supportive? Are they energetic? Are they empowering you? Are these people with a vision and they have got dreams for their future and they follow their dreams? Or is it people who are being negative? Is it people who always drain your energy, who keep complaining, who are gossiping about other people, or might they even be harming you? Check it out for yourself. I would recommend to you to prepare a little list, write down on one side of the page the people that are positive, that empower you, and on the other side, the people that affect you in a negative way. And I always like to say we always have options in our life. We always do. So I'd like to say you have the option of changing the person. But I would really not even try to do this, because we all know how difficult it is to change ourselves, our own behavior. So how can we change someone else? It's basically impossible. The second option you have is to change yourself and change your environment. So what I mean with this is for you to set boundaries, for you to stand up for yourself, realize what do you want, and then make a decision. If you don't want something, if you don't want to meet up with a person, if you don't want any negative talk, you are the one who can say no to all of this. Because a no to someone else is a yes to yourself. Be aware of that. A no to someone else is a yes to yourself. And I think it's so important to learn not to take the negative energy from other people. And you may experience it yourself. People might be friends or colleagues might be standing together in a group and they might be complaining about the manager, about politics, about the weather, about, who knows, the husband or the wife, or they might be gossiping about another colleague, about friends, about whoever. What you can do, you have the choice. If you want to join them, you can change the subject, you can get into them and say, oh, well, what are you going to do this weekend? Or what are your plans for holidays? So you can change the subject, change it into a positive way, change the complete direction, getting everyone out of that negative talk. Or you have the chance to walk off if you don't want to listen to it. But don't get drawn into that negative energy where everyone is around, because it is not a nice feeling and it just only makes you feel bad. Or if you have friends or colleagues or family who always criticize you, who tell you you're not good enough, you will not be able to achieve this, you have to behave in a certain way or whatever, you can stand up for yourself and tell them, I don't like you to speak to me like this. Don't treat me this way. Stop saying these things to me. Because no one has the right to treat you badly. Yes, it takes a bit of courage, but you will see it will make you feel so much better. It's an act of self-love as well, because you stand up for yourself. You don't allow other people treating you badly. And I understand sometimes it is difficult dealing with people, especially if it is family or especially if it is people that you can really not get away with them. So you could as well imagine a glass between you and between the other person. I always like to imagine like a glass wall that is surrounding me. So my positive energy stays within the wall. And the other person's energy, the negative energy, only stays around the person up to the glass wall. And this is how I imagine. Yes, you need to be mindful about that if the person starts being negative, but I find this quite helpful to me. And sometimes it doesn't even help telling the person or asking them to change, to stop saying these things. So if that happens, you then again have the choice. You can either stop the contact with the person or you can minimize the contact. You can avoid the people as well. But best is normally to stop the contact, if you can, of course. It's not always possible, but if you can, in the long term, it's the best to stop completely the contact, to let the people go. I understand this is not possible with family, but with family, you can set the boundaries, you can minimize the contact, you can avoid them as much as you can. And you may think now, I cannot really say it to someone else. I may hurt this person's feelings. I can really not avoid them because I have been always there for them. I have to be kind. I have to be respectful. And of course, I understand this might be some fears. This might be some beliefs that you have created many years ago. But what I want you to know is that you are hurting yourself if you don't set any boundaries. You are the one that is hurting yourself. So it's very, very, very important to put yourself and your well-being as a priority. Even if it means to let the person go. Because what's the sense and what's the purpose of a relation where you don't feel good? There is no sense. And that is in your own power to change. And as I said earlier, in fact, it is your responsibility. I think it's better having a small circle of people or friends who value you, people who love you, people who empower you, people who are there for you whenever you need them, who give you positive energy rather than draining your positive energy and using you, criticizing you. You don't need it. You don't deserve it. So how can you bring more positive people into your life? I have created a few months ago a group on Facebook with loads of amazing people who are exactly the same as you are. They want to grow. They have started their personal growth and development. They are exchanging with other people. They are joining me to the Sunday sessions that I'm currently running and sharing positive energy, encouraging people. So if you want to join this group, you're very welcome. You find this on Facebook. The name is Live the Life You Love with 3 hearts at the end. And also, you can attend some workshops. You can attend some webinars. You can check online. You can listen to some videos or some podcasts that lift you up, because that's another thing. Even if you don't see people live, you can still communicate with them. You can still listen to positive podcasts, which they give you positive energy as well. That's really what I would like you to understand, that you have the power. You have the power to change your life. So I hope this podcast was helpful to you. I hope there was some information that you have gained something for yourself as well. And hopefully it has given you a little inspiration to change your life, to take responsibility for your happiness, for your life. And if you enjoyed this podcast, leave me a comment who empowers you. Is there anyone in your life who you are grateful for? And share that podcast with the person and tell the person how grateful you are. Show your gratitude to that person. And yes, get in touch with me, contact me, leave me a comment. I would absolutely love hearing from you. And if you enjoyed this podcast, I would be so grateful if you could recommend it to your friends, forward it to your friends. And if you leave me a positive comment and a thumbs up, I would be overwhelmed. Also, if you don't want to miss any future podcasts, simply subscribe to this podcast or to this channel, and let's stay in contact. Let's stay in touch. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook under Jolanthe Colleague. And yes, get in touch with me. I'm looking forward hearing from you. Thank you so much again for listening to this podcast. Take care. Loads of love. Your Jolanthe. you.